Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Matt with Green Bar Trading. I know it has been a while since I've made a video. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm extremely busy now, just trading part-time. I do have a lot of other things going on, including coaching both of my daughter's softball teams, which has taken up the entire summer. So between work, coaching those two teams, and just trying to enjoy the summer, it's been tough to get on here and make videos, create content, trade. I haven't done much of any of that. But we have such an important week coming up. We needed to come in and make this weekly watch list video for you guys. I hope it helps. Up on the screen here are all the earnings for this week, which is going to be a huge week with earnings, especially with what we've seen in the stock market. So rallying into earnings season, I say this all the time, carries risks with that. So when stocks are already pricing in good earnings, or if they're just already pricing in these reports, and the reports don't impress or really hit it out of the park, a lot of times the market and these stocks will sell off in pretty heavy volume. Now, I'm not saying that has to happen this week, but we're definitely starting to see just a little bit of weakness, especially in the QQQ. All right, so before we get into the video, please hit that thumbs up. And if you are new, consider subscribing. Once things slow down, I think I'm on vacation next week, so I won't be in. We're going to be taking a family vacation, and then the rest of the summer is going to be pretty busy. But come the fall, all systems go, right? Everything should start to slow down a little bit as far as my coaching goes, and then I'll be able to create more content for you guys. So this week we have the big companies: Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, McDonald's. We have just a huge week of earnings. We're really going to have to pay attention to these reports, okay? What is said? You got Boeing here also on Wednesday before the market opens. Just a lot of industrials, a lot of tech. It's just jam-packed week. So this is your earnings here for the week. Okay, so let's take a look at the economic calendar for the week. This is a big one. We have FOMC on Wednesday. We have GDP on Thursday. These are big reports coming up here. So I would definitely, and then we have the PCE on Friday. So this week is huge. Now, this is the last FOMC rate decision meeting until September. All right. Most likely, we will see 25 basis points of a rate increase. Okay. But in August, that's when they meet at Jackson Hole. And there'll be a lot of, things that come out of that meeting at Jackson Hole, but that will not be a rate hike or anything. It's not an FOMC meeting. So this is the last one until September. Okay. Baked already into the market is 25 basis points. Like I said, we'll have to see and wait, especially for the all-important news conference that happens after the rate decision, right? So at 2 p.m., we get the 25 basis points rate hike, and then at 2:30, Powell will start speaking for about an hour, and the market will really be very volatile during this time. So we normally will see a move at 2 o'clock, and then that move reverses when Powell starts to talk. Nobody knows what he's going to say. Nobody knows if it's going to be hawkish, dovish. We just don't know. But it definitely gives the opportunity to make some money because you're going to get a lot of volatility. Okay. It's also dangerous to trade during that time. But just know that these moves sometimes reverse. So that's the FOMC we have on Wednesday. Like I said, GDP reading on Thursday with the initial jobless claims. And then on Friday, the all-important PCE. This is what the Fed likes to look at as far as inflation goes, that core PCE. They want to see that get down to 2%. All right. So that is your economic calendar for this week. Looking at the sectors and their relative performance, what we're seeing now, especially starting last week, we're seeing a rotation into the defensive sectors: energy, healthcare, financial, utilities, consumer defensive. They all had good weeks. Technology, right? Consumer cyclical, communication services, that's the Googles, the Metas, those suffered on the week just about, down 2%. Not a huge move, but we haven't seen this in a very long time. So we need to keep an eye on it. This is something new, this rotation we're seeing here for the past week. So let's see if this continues or not. We need to watch these very carefully. All right, but that's your sectors there on the week and their relative performance to each other. All right, now going over to our compass, the SPY, we had a nice breakout, right? So we consolidated over here, set up a nice flat top breakout, and then we're just the last couple of days just kind of hovering around. This is not a big pullback. We still have a lot of room to come down and test that 20 EMA. The 20 EMA on momentum, that is usually a very nice spot to see a bounce. The only problem with this, especially on the SPY, is it's already had the two pullbacks to the 20 EMA in this most recent momentum swing. A third test can sometimes fail. It would make a lot of sense for me to get a pullback to this area, right? This 444, where we couldn't break out, finally broke out, have not retested yet, which will also be around where that 20 EMA is. If this stuff breaks down and doesn't hold, this could be our first chance at maybe a bigger pullback to the 50 moving average. If during earnings season and FOMC, the market sells off. So far, you can't call that because this year has been very good. But just so you know, that's where I would be looking for. This 20 EMA is now becoming very important for me. On the QQQ, same thing. The momentum of the 20 EMA has been very, very strong on the NASDAQ. This has pulled back, it pulls back for a couple of days, and then usually finds support at that 20 EMA. The only problem is we're very, 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 very extended on the Qs over the 200. There's a lot of air down here now, okay? Momentum, like I said, pullbacks, 1, 2, 3. This pullback has less likelihood of holding up than the first couple pullbacks to the 20 EMA. And this is the daily chart, just so you guys know. I have the 50, this cream colored line, the 200, and then I also have the 20 EMA. All right. I'm looking at volume also. I'm seeing a lot of selling volume in the last couple of days, a lot of rotation, coming out of this. So this is what I'd be watching. You have 372. What is this? 372.38 on the 20 EMA on the daily chart. So not much room here. Watch this level. This is going to be important. Looking at this on the weekly chart, what are we seeing? There's our candle for the week. All right. On higher volume. We've also been extended on the RSI. All right. Healthy pullbacks. You can't keep going up, up, up forever. All right. So we ran right back into this area here, which we saw a lot of buying and selling, right, towards the end of 2021, kind of came back into there and then had a bit of a sell-off, all right, setting up this type of candle. Not the most bullish candle, but still not totally, nervous about the market. We have to just see what happens here because it was a nice breakout from this like sort of bull flag here for a month of consolidation, broke out. Usually it'll retest there at some point. So that's possible. That's what we're saying there with the 20 EMA. down here at that 372 area. So that's something that I'd be watching. But that weekly candle is not great. It was on higher volume. So we got distribution days in there last week, all kinds of things that should get you to start to think, if you have a lot of tech stocks, or if you're owning the QQQ, or if you're doing options, try to take some money off the table if you're sitting in some profit here, because there's a chance for a bigger pullback at some point, a correction. All right. If we look at this back on the daily chart, since this golden cross from where the 50 crosses over the 200, we're up 34%. There's definitely room for a bigger pullback. So far, we haven't seen more than a couple of days at a time, right? So now we're kind of in day 2, day 3 of a pullback. Not time to really get crazy yet, but the volume was pretty much a lot higher than these green days. Even this last sell-off, the volume was a lot less than what we saw here in the last 2 days of last week. So Thursday and Friday saw some heavier volume. All right, so that's the QQQ. Taking a look at the VIX, I have a new floor now. All right, it's very clear here that the 13 area has become the floor, at least for now, for 2023. If we look at this on the daily chart, every year has a floor, right? So 2019 floor was down here at about 12 or 11 and change. Back here in 2017, the floor was down here at 850s. Back here in 2021, you had a floor at around 15. The volatile year here around 20. So our 2023 support level on the VIX seems to be looking like 13, right? Every time it gets to 13, that's probably a good time to, take some profit or sell. When it gets back up to 15, 16, that's been a good time to buy, right? Then it comes back down. As the VIX goes down, the stock market goes up. So, you can see these huge ranges. Look at last year. Look at how volatile the market was. Options are a lot more expensive when you have volatility like this. When you have volatility like this, options are a lot cheaper, right? I don't know if you guys have noticed that getting into options are cheaper. The only problem is you're not getting the huge moves. So you have time decay on it. A lot of times it's not hitting strike prices that you want. But for day trading purposes, they're a lot cheaper, okay? It's just holding them and looking for bigger moves has not really happened yet. Although with the QQQ, the last couple days, there has been bigger moves. So just keep that in mind. That's the VIX there. I wanted to look at one other stock here, Nvidia, on the daily chart. Coming back to the 20 EMA. The 20 EMA is sitting at 437.53. All right. Each time it comes back around here, we've seen a bit of a bounce. This also was a nice spot here from the breakout, the gap fill, right? Really pretty much perfectly here. And now this morning in the pre-market, it looks like we're up a little bit. Just watch this 20 EMA. You do have a lot of room here to the downside. A lot of good news is already baked into Nvidia. But like we've seen here before, just when we thought we were extended at 440, came back to the 20 EMA, went all the way to 480. Could not break over 480 a couple of those days, and now it's back retesting that breakout spot. All right, Nvidia is a very heavily day traded stock, but look at this volume here. That volume from Friday was a ton of volume. That's not a good sign, closing at its lows. So watch this stock intraday, see what happens. If you're gapping up, just watch it and see if this thing actually breaks down or if it continues its insane epic run. But that's Nvidia, kind of at a pretty critical level here. And that's going to do it for me. Just a quick weekly watch list video. Like I said, sorry I haven't been able to make a couple of these for you guys, but life gets in the way. I'm sure everybody knows that you can get very busy and overwhelmed, but now we're back. So I hope you enjoy it. Hit the thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.